Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in to the Just Some Magic podcast. I am your host, Morgan, and here on Just Some Magic, we like to share people's most magical moments in the theme parks. Today, I have a very lovely guest, and I met through a dear friend of mine, Jean, that I do Disney Underground with. Today, we have Dave. Hi, Dave. How are you today?
Morgan, hello. Happy Schmurz Day or whatever day it is.
It's first
Monday, right? That's when it drops.
Monday.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Yes. And you gave me a backstory of all of the amazing, incredible Disney and theme park related content you do. Would you like to give us a little taste of what you've done?
I,
And then we'll get into a teaser of your most magical moment.
100%. Okay, so I am Dave of the Brandy&Dave, where myself and my better half, Brandy, have been putting out YouTube content. Well, all the content on all the things, Instagram, TikTok, the YouTubes, as Brandy&Dave for about 5 years now. Um, Also I am one of three members of Dis and That Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Dis and That on the YouTubes. If you want to come for irreverent Disney podcast-esque live stream, on topic, off topic ridiculousness with three dudes, it's where you should be Wednesday nights. So
Wednesday nights, and that doesn't conflict with my show or the Disney Underground. So Mondays you'll listen to Just Some Magic, Tuesdays Disney Underground, Wednesdays Dis and That. So we got the first 3 days of the week all covered.
100%.
Perfect.
So if you want the long and short of it, so
Yes.
we've been doing Brandy&Dave for a long time. Thanks to COVID, kind of stopped doing a bunch of stuff.
Mhm.
Ended up losing monetization, so I'm not a happy camper right now. So
Oh
I've been
no.
really going hard for the last about 6 weeks, putting out not old content, but content from last year, and just some stuff that we've had in the pipeline for a while. So it's out there. We're live
Mhm.
Sunday nights. I am live Sunday nights as well, 6:15 Eastern Standard Time on Brandy and
Okay.
Dave. If you want to check it out. So that's
So
all.
Sunday,
That's
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we got
100%.
you. Between the two of us and the Disney
Fair.
Underground, we got you.
That's fair. And congrats on the show with Gene and Panda, um,
And Sammy D.
and
Yes.
Sammy D. Yeah, no, you
Mhm.
guys have had. I know it's in its infancy, but you guys have and are developing a great chemistry. It's been really fun to
Yes.
watch. So
Thank you. I really do appreciate that. And we connected because I made a shout out on the show. I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for people to share more stories. I'm always looking for people to share more stories. Anybody listening now, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome to." But you reached out to Jean, who got in touch with me, and we connected, and within a week later we're recording this, and here we are. And I did not realize and I say this as a compliment, the chaos that I was going to interview. You have such a high energy personality, even just talking before the show. So I am super excited to get
I,
into your most magical moment.
I would say I'd tone it down, but I don't, and I can't, so I won't. So
I
it'll
feel
be a
like
fun one for sure.
yes, yes. If you wanting, people listen to the podcast while they're cleaning or doing other things, but I feel like this is gonna be a good episode to listen to while you're running or doing something high energy or something like that.
100%. Fun fact, I did just start running again for the first time in a long time. Long
Ooh.
story, finally got back into fitness, was lifting for a long time, had to take a break, but like now I'm like never wanted to do Run Disney. Now I'm like 2024 Wine and Dine looks really good right now.
Yes.
So kind of throwing that out there. We'll see.
So
So
this is gonna be your first run Disney?
yeah, I haven't done it. I've been there for it. Actually, it's really funny. So I've been down for race weekend multiple times.
Mhm.
I know we're gonna get off topic here, and you can cut whatever out you want.
Oh
But
gosh.
part of a group online that was started on the Diz boards, then morphed over to Facebook and whatever. It was the Diz Dads, and used to have a convention every year for race weekend. So there'd be 40 dads running around Disney together. You know Ravion, who's doing everything on the Disney Channel, right? Um,
No.
Any rate, you know him, guaranteed. When he
Okay.
started, we ran into him. This is 2018, 2017, something like that, right? Um,
Mhm.
he like got us our own Jungle Cruise ride is all dads, and we were super pumped that they were going to do the After Dark version, and they didn't. We were really sad. Yeah.
And
Allegedly,
can
there's
you
an
can
After Dark version. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, and what would that consist of for anybody that doesn't quite know what that would be? I've
It
heard
is the
rumblings of it, but never
I
experienced it
it
myself.
is the PG-13 plus esque version of the Jungle Cruise jokes. So all of the stuff that you want to say under your breath that you don't say, they say. So but yeah, anywho, I've been to several race weekends. I'm off
Yes,
topic of my off topic already.
I love
I
it.
did
My
my
brain
own 2 years in a row. I did my own dopey snack challenge where I tried to do what is it? 46 and a half snacks. What's the dopey? What's the
I I
dopey?
I wanna
It's
say,
for
like, 48 or 46, I think
what
sounds about
48.6, right? Does that sound right? So
Yes!
I tried to have that many different snacks in 4 days. I haven't completed it. I want to do it. I mean, that's like the dad bod version of what
Yes!
Run Disney is. So I would really like to go do the dopey, but here's my issue. I can't handle, as someone who only gets to go to Disney once, maybe twice a year if I'm lucky.
Yes.
Um, I don't want to spend 4 days getting up at 2 in the morning to go run around parks that I'd rather walk around and eat and drink.
Yes.
Just saying. So
You got me dead because I personally have never done Dopey. I've done one Disney Princess race like 3 weeks before COVID hit, and I loved it. I trained for it. I'm not a runner
right.
by any trade, so I was kind of in the same boat as you.
Mhm.
And then I did it. I was hooked. I wanted to do all the other ones, signed up for them. They all got canceled because of COVID. But I have interviewed plenty of runners, and my one of my most recent episodes was my friend Alex, who did not only the Dopey challenge but then also the Princess Fairy Tale challenge. 26 weeks pregnant or something like
What?
that. Yes, I'll forward you the link.
Wow.
And then I'm like, "That sounds difficult in and of itself," and then very pregnant, and I'm like, Let's do Dave's version. That's kind of the snack challenge, like, I'm down to sign up for that,"
Oh,
how do you train for that? How would you train for a
training for the
48
snack challenge? I've been training for that my entire 43 years of existence. Me and food go well together. But like it was fantastic. I actually I'm putting together a video on some lounges at Disney or at Disney Hollywood Studios currently. So
Okay.
I went back and found one that I did during that time, and like snacks 12 and 13 were the charcuterie board and the ribeye puff at baseline. Like that,
What?
yeah. I'm like, I don't know why these count as snacks, but I'd rather eat this than whatever's over there. But like, I was trying to do random stuff too, so it's stuff that people didn't
Mhm.
know about, and
Yeah.
it's all in video somewhere. I know. I put out probably 30 of them. I never put it into one video. I never had the first time I did it. I didn't have any real focus. Um,
Mhm.
I just kind of it was like 2 days before I went down. I'm like, everyone else is doing dopey. I'm doing the dopey snack challenge. Why not? And
So the first day, 3 snacks, the second day, 6 snacks?
yeah, so it'd be
What did
3,
you Oh,
6,
oh, wait.
13, 26.
Yes, 13, 26. So that 3rd and 4th day, so it's slow it's a big jump
Well, if you, I
for
mean,
anybody.
if you really want to know, that's Sunday, and if you that's Sunday, me and a bunch of the Diz dads went to Cali Grill Brunch. Which did you ever do California Grill Brunch when it was a thing? It was
The Contemporary?
yes, it
I think I
was
did, and I think I loved it.
$90 a person. All you can drink champagne. Um, all you could eat entrees. You didn't just get one. You could keep ordering entrees. And then there was a sushi bar. There was a big charcuterie plate, right? You could do Bloody Marys for $10 a pop, right? Still at $90 a person, the best deal on Disney property. Because you could show up at 10:30 and stay there till they kicked you out at 3 and try everything on the menu. And that's it. That's your $90 plus tip. And if you had Tables in Wonderland at the time, tip was included, basically, right? If you did the math.
Mhm.
You, that was all you needed. So I did that and then still tried to finish the snack challenge later, which I am so devastated that that brunch is not back. It was an amazing Sunday brunch.
Ah,
So good. I would pay 120 for it now with all the inflation and all that fun stuff. Not kidding. 120 a person. Think about that. A family of 4. All of my kids are over. They're Disney adults at 10 because that's what you are when you go to Disney now. You're an adult at 10. But I would still, I'm pretty sure I'd still drop $500 on that thing, and it'd be our meal for the day, 100%.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, when you eat like such a grand meal
Yeah,
in the middle of the day and then go like you're good.
you're
You're
done.
good. But I do want to see 48 or 46 snack
And
challenge
what's the
in a course of
divided?
4
48.
days. I would love if you made like a PDF of it or something. That would be so incredibly fun. Um
Yeah, 48.6. Yeah, so 48 and a half snacks. Think about that.
48 and a half snacks. So when you get to that last one, you don't have to finish it. You can just eat half.
I think I used it sometime. I'm like, this doesn't really count as a snack, so I'm just calling it the half snack.
There
But
you
it
go.
might have
There
been
you go.
it might have been like a Mickey bar or something. I don't know,
Something
but
tiny or something.
I'm
Well,
telling you, it'd
I
be fun.
love that idea. I think a lot of people would wanna sign up for that. I don't know if there would be, buy a Disney gift card or something to or, how you register for the
Yeah.
races. You can do the same thing, but I wish you the best of luck on your race, but would you like to give us a little teaser to get the people excited about what your most magical moment is?
Is a magical moment, and as you know, a lot of magical moments are provided by the cast members that are there.
Mhm.
And this one had the help of cast members, 100%. But it all started with Brandy sitting at Sci-Fi Dine-In, something I have wanted to do since I was a child. We'll
And
go for
you
that.
who go
We'll go with that one.
and then you as a Disney adult who goes frequently, yes, twice a year, but still you've been going for multiple years and something you still haven't done. I'm waiting. I'm excited for you guys to hear this story. All right. So, my very first question is why do you love theme parks?
I've been going to Disney since I was 10. That is 1990 because I'm old. Um, I it has always been our family vacation. Growing up, it 100% was. Always enjoyed it. We weren't, the Disney only folks. Still did Universal every year.
Oh, good, good.
Um,
We like
so
Universal on this podcast as well.
Universal's great. Growing up, and it's really funny now that we're in the Disney community, right? It's like Disney,
Mhm.
but Universal's her. But then
I
you have people that
know.
love yeah. It's like whatever. What are you
It's
doing to
like
me
we
here?
don't speak that name down the street. I'm
Well,
like, "No, we absolutely do because we are oh, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt.
you're fine.
We're at such a great time to be adult when these theme parks are just competing for the most immersive, incredible experience, and so Universal and Disney or Universal's coming up on its tails and, like,
It's
it's
not as
I
close
love
as you think yet. When
Mhm.
Epic pops, it's gonna be real interesting in 2027. I mean, I'll blue sky everything with this as well, but 2027, 2028, I think is going to be the real knockdown, drag out theme park boxing
Ooh.
match if you want to. I really do in Orlando.
Ooh.
I think that Disney has enough stuff up their sleeve that they're going to drop something right before the turn the end of the decade. Um a couple
Ooh.
years into Epic, and it's honestly going to be, and I say this about Rise of the Resistance, right? Like Disney said, or I'm sorry, Universal's like, "Oh, we have Harry Potter. We're immersive." And Disney said, "Hold my beer," and then did Rise of the Resistance. Just
Mhm.
saying. Any rate, back to why I love theme parks. Grew up going every single year. I have so many fantastic family memories um, of going to the parks. Both my parents taught, so it was every summer. It was hot as all get out. But growing up, Orlando theme park, right? Like I remember when Islands of Adventure opened. I remember Jaws, Rip, fantastic, right?
Oh, I
Oh,
I literally interviewed someone 2 days ago, and I'll get to this question later, but what retired attraction would you like to go on? And
right,
her and I both said Jaws
yeah,
'cause wasn't going to Universal till the 2010s, and that was
hmm
already gone. So
yep,
you are very fortunate to go
yeah.
on Jaws.
What's really funny is Jaws is the first immersive language or immersive land that anyone had, but people didn't
Oh,
realize it because Amity Island was much more than just a walkthrough. I mean,
yeah.
it was the Dino Land that was good. Just saying.
Poor
Um,
Dino Land.
I know, right? Well,
Aw.
it gets a lot of flack, and it deserves it. Um, but yeah, so did that. Unfortunately, my mother passed away in 2024. I'm sorry, not 2024. 2004, 2005. It was right after we got married. So yeah, early 2005. Um, so still a lot of memories at Disney of her and family and all that. So now I get to share it with my kids, and my wife, who was not a Disney fan, who um, we still to this day say that we're glad that we went on our honeymoon in Mexico. But now that she's as much of a Disney fan as I am, because I turned her into one,
Good
she was like,
job.
yeah, she was like, I would have, it would have been okay to go to Disney for a
Oh.
honeymoon. But yeah, I mean
No.
I've just been a lifelong theme park fan, and then when they bought Star Wars, that just sealed the deal. Been a Star Wars fan since it's one of the first. It's honestly one of the first memories I have is watching Star Destroyer come in overhead at the beginning of Episode 4. Like
Yes.
it's seared into my head. Um, Love it. So I'm more of a parks slash Star Wars nerd.
Yeah, so you take your family now, and do your kid I know you converted your wife, good
Mhm.
job. Do your
Yes.
kids love it just as much as you guys, or
Y-
how are they feeling? And they're
yes.
older now too, so do they
Yeah.
like Universal as well?
We haven't been to Universal. I haven't been to Universal since 2005. I haven't seen Harry Potterville. And I'm a Harry Potter fan, and the daughter is as well. But from a escaping work and going on vacation kind of situation, I am a get on property, stay on property kind of guy.
Fair
I
enough, fair
like to
enough.
be in the bubble, and I like to not really have to care about anything else. So we will go. It may end up being 2024. Might add a few days on the front end and go do that just because um, need to.
Yeah,
But
and the
we'll
kids are getting older, and then your
yep,
youngest will get
yep,
older, and they'll appreciate if they're brave enough to do coasters and all
yep.
of those fun things, so I
And
totally understand that, and I like to ask
yeah,
people's different perspective of how they go down, you said only twice a year, so like you said, you like to be in the bubble,
yeah.
absolutely,
It's usually
and
once a year for a big trip in the summer, and then depending on whether or not I have an AP and we have anything else going on, when it comes to content creation, like I snuck out to D23 Expo last year, which is my first trip to Disneyland.
oh
Um,
my gosh. What did you think of Disneyland?
Actually, I'm a hard pass, 100%. Just in general, I'm just
Why?
kind of like I don't know.
Alright, so this interview
this
is
yeah, and that's
over,
fine. And
I'm teasing, I'm teasing.
it's not that it's bad. Now, granted, I didn't get to go for the entire day. I didn't really plan on going
Okay.
to Disneyland because
Did you
none of
do
us
both
had been
parks or
there.
just Disneyland?
Did Disneyland, and the only reason was a cast member friend got us in, and I really wasn't
Oh.
planning on doing it. 'Cause I didn't want to do it without the family, so it's kind of like I was kind of reserved when it came to that. I did Oogie
Mm.
Boogie, which was a lot of fun. Like Incredicoaster is pretty solid. But
Mhm.
my thing is that I can't, as an East Coaster, I can't from a for your value standpoint, with money you're going to spend at Disney, go to Disneyland knowing that I
Ah,
can go to Disney World. It's a
mm,
shorter flight. I if I'm going to Cali, I'm going for 2 weeks, and I'm doing other stuff in California, and it's
absolutely.
not that. It's a completely different type of trip. So not that I would never go back. I mean
Mhm.
D23 was fine. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I enjoyed it more because it was the people I was with. So
Uh-huh.
so I think we spent as much time at Trader Sam's as we did actually at D23 Expo.
How
So
fun, how
we did
fun.
that. We actually did a speakeasy. It was fantastic. It's got all of the panels that we wanted. So got Parks panel, which was absolutely disappointing if you were a Disney World fan. Let's just
Mhm.
think that maybe potentially
Potentially,
over
yup,
behind a place we might do something.
one
Oh,
day.
no way. You're kidding me. You might expand the park? No. It was
Such a
100,
tease.
and this is weeks before Chapek is done, right? So
Yeah.
so it's Demaro standing up there, and you know that when they were putting the PowerPoint presentation together for this, that they're like, we need something for the Disney World people. They traveled the furthest. I know we just gave him a 50th celebration where we had cupcakes every 2 weeks
And statues.
and statues that didn't work. I don't know. They probably did. I'm
They did, but, like, towards the second half of it, but then you had to buy the special magic bands.
exactly,
It was
exactly.
all money grab.
But like, yeah, I was just I'm like, okay, so you open up with "We're bringing happily ever after back." All right, you win. Like that's enough for me because
Yeah.
I'm actually a huge Wishes fan, but happily ever after
Yes.
close second. So
Yes, but I will say, I would love to hear your opinion when you can bring your family and have more time there from someone who has lived 20 minutes away from Disney World and then also 20 minutes away from Disneyland. I do like Disneyland a little more. There's just a little extra loving in it, but it totally makes sense from an East Coast standpoint with a family of 4 only getting travel. It absolutely makes sense and more bang for your buck and more
mhm,
parks and more experiences to enjoy. So I
yep,
completely understand that. Absolutely. So you've listened to the show before, so you know this question's coming. So hopefully you
yes,
had time to think of it, but
I
not
got them all
necessarily your
down. We're good.
perfect. So not your favorite character, but what character do you most identify with? You're the most similar to.
I want to say Donald Duck, and only because
Oh.
like I'm known in our community to be the guy that rants about things. If you didn't, if you need an example, go back 45 seconds. And it's kind of like I I'm not nearly as hot headed now that I've gotten older, older and wiser and whatever. But I will speak my opinion, and I'd say
Absolutely.
Gaston because he's similar, but I'm not that arrogant.
Right,
I'm
right.
really not. And I almost said Flynn because I'm that sarcastic about it, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It's kind of like you could get an amalgamation of those three.
Yeah, I
But
can see, like, like, 'cause Flynn Rider's got a good heart where Gaston is, like, only looking out for himself, but they do have
right.
very similar personalities, like,
Mhm.
I know you haven't really been to Disneyland, but, Disneyland, the characters roam and stuff, and Gaston just kinda roams sometimes, and
Right.
so does not Rapunzel, but Rapunzel and Flynn will roam too, and I'm like, I would love to see a conversation with Gaston and Flynn Rider because I think that would be very interesting
I
just to
agree.
see how they
I agree
interact with each
100%.
other.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I always want to do what's best so I'm not Gaston and Flynn Rider's kind of in that ballpark. Which by
Yes.
the way,
Oh, yes.
have you done the breakfast at Trattoria Al Forno
No, but
with Flynn and Rapunzel?
I've done the princess breakfast in, Disneyland for, when I was back on the Diz,
Got it.
but I've
That's
heard wonderful things about that, and my friends, like, are huge raving fans of that
so good.
breakfast.
So good.
Oh, yes, and then I've seen, like, the powdered, on the powdered sugar on the pancakes with the
Oh yeah, the
sun from
pancake tower?
Rapunzel.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
that, that's adorable too,
The
but
real win is the breakfast calzone. Wi
ooh.
Yeah, it's all kinds of breakfast stuff in a calzone with red sauce on it, with a spear shoved into it because it's Triton's, I think, in some
Oh, very
capacity.
cool.
I don't
Oh
know.
my
You
goodness.
don't get to keep the spear, which bothers me because I'm like, this is, whatever. You're giving me a weapon. I want to keep the weapon. I don't know.
Yes!
Whatever.
I love it, I love it, but so, like you said, amalgamation of Donald Duck, Gaston, Flynn Rider, and, like, what characteristics I mean, we've already been talking for 30 minutes almost,
All right.
but, like, what characteristics do you very much, like, closely identify with, like, Flynn Rider being?
I'm a bit of a smart aleck. My wife is blonde, although his is no longer blonde. Um,
She's in the parks as blonde. I would
it's fair, 100% in the parks is blonde.
Mhm.
Um, I I feel like personality wise, we're very, very similar when it comes to that. Always trying to do what is best, even if there is some personal gain in it. There's still a greater a greater good, if you want to use that phrasing, that he's attempting to work towards. So I do carry a satchel at the parks, by the way. I
Oh,
have
perfect!
I run the it's a Maxpedition. It's the best park bag you can get if you're a dude, 100%. It's
Ooh.
enough for all my streaming gear, all of my batteries, extra clothes for the kids, but it all sits on your side. It's not on the back. So
So, my next question is if you could, like I hinted at this earlier, if you could go on any retired Disney or Universal ride, what would it be and why?
would be the Living Seas, the OG Living Seas. Growing
Oh,
up, yeah. So pre Nemo.
why is that? Pre-Memo. How I don't even remember that. So, what is
So
so special about it that makes you
so
wanna do it? I'm just so curious.
so back in the day, if you wanted to go see fish, you had to travel to the bottom of the ocean by going to the Living Seas and taking a ride in a hydrolator down to Sea Base Alpha. So you would go in, there were these fake elevators that would take you down 3 stories, but the floor shook, much like in Rise of the Resistance. The floor shakes,
Mhm.
right? When you're on the plane, the oh, I don't want to ruin the magic. When you're on when you're going up to you're trying to leave
Cruiser
and
or
cruiser thingy.
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Star Cruiser, with the squid dude.
Yes, yes.
Yes. But it was the same type of thing. And then you get to the bottom and then it opened up to what is the aquarium. So where the diver's
Cool.
tank is, they would have that. It was more focused on educational stuff, obviously, and then they Nemoized it, which again, I'm cool with. I love Little
Right.
Nemo as a movie. I think they did
Nice.
a good job with the Omnimover, but that Omnimover used to be a ride that went through. But you started with a movie, and
Oh.
if you watch the movie and you have any OG fans of Epcot, they will know the line, "It rained, it rained, it rained, the deluge." And that's it. You start with this, and it's just pouring down rain. And it says how the oceans were created whenever the planet was created. And then you go through and you sit in what was a different Omnimover, but the same thing, not clamshells, and you were facing forward instead of sideways. And you went through, and you could see all of the fish around you, right?
Cool.
So you did all that, then you can go hang out. And as a teenager, I wanted to be a marine biologist when I grew up. That obviously happened. No. But I was old enough at that point where I could go to Epcot on a bus by myself and spend hours there, and I literally did.
Aw.
So I would go and just hang out, like watch the sawtooth fish and count the sharks and just whatever. The manatees were cool, see the dolphins, it was great. It was my like little cool place in Epcot that wasn't running around doing whatever. I
It's
loved the
like,
Living
"Where's
Seas.
Dave?" Okay,
Pretty
living
much.
with the seas.
Pretty much. The Living Seas, I would be there 100%. And not that they did a bad job with the retheme, and again, not that you have to pick Nemo for that. Like, it's 100%, it makes a lot of sense. If they're going to put
Mhm.
IP in Epcot, Nemo goes there. No shot. 100% has to be a thing. But if I could do the old one again, just to watch the video, I would
Mhm.
in a heartbeat.
Oh my goodness. I gotta YouTube that. Something I didn't even know I needed to go remember, 'cause I probably have done it when I was a child, but I don't remember it, so that
Oh,
is so cool.
I could have gone with the standard answers, right? Like Horizons. I could have gone, like the
Mhm.
original Haunted Mansion.
Right.
Like I could have, but
But
I
that's a
thought about
very unique
I thought
answer.
about this for a 2-hour drive back from Pittsburgh, like for real. I was listening to the
I'm
podcast and like I
flattered.
don't know which one I'm gonna talk about, but yeah, that's it,
Well,
100%,
this might be a shocker, but you are the first and only one to have ever, said that as the answer, so
and I
good
will
job.
be forever,
Forever.
forever.
Oh my goodness. Alright, and then my very, very last question is, what attraction would you be absolutely devastated, and you're a very passionate person. Would you be
I am.
devastated if it got demolished during your lifetime? Updates and improvements are acceptable, though.
So I thought about this one too, and I have to agree with Panda that Haunted Mansion holds a special place in my heart, as it was my mother's favorite ride. But if they demolished that, the entirety of the Disney community would storm the castle,
Oh,
like no
absolutely.
shot. So there are things that I think are untouchable. Haunted Mansion, obviously. Um, Small World, obviously.
Mhm.
Which I'm not
I
a
would
huge
say
Small World fan. Go ahead.
I would say pirates.
Pirates, 100%.
Mhm.
Other than that, and I really thought about this, and I heard someone say Rise of the Resistance, that if they knocked that, whatever.
Mm.
Heard some other things that I didn't disagree with, and I'm a Jungle Cruise fan. My retirement plan is to be a skipper, 100%. Like, no shot. That is what I want to do. I want to be the 70-year-old skipper that is telling jokes that a 22-year-old wrote, right? Like using the new lingo vernacular in the year 2052 as an old bald man on that. I'm so pumped for it. Like it would make me smile day in day out.
Oh
But if
my
Jungle
gosh.
Cruise isn't there, I'm not going to be upset. I don't think I have an
Mm,
answer because
okay.
across the board, if you take out anything, it's always going to be something better.
Fair enough.
And if
And
they demolished Rise of the Resistance today, as much as I know that there'd be slightly an uproar, I'd be okay with it. Frankly, Galaxy's Edge
right.
in general, because I hate the fact that it's set in episode 8. It bothers me
Right.
to a Star Wars core.
I agree with you with the Rise of the Resistance. When I asked this question too, when I'm not thinking, like you said, The Untouchables, Haunted Mansion, Pirates, Small World. I am not thinking those. So when one time someone, Panda answered that, I'm like, wait, what? They could never. They
Right.
could never. But like you said, Rise of the Resistance, like if they decided in 10 years, like, we could do better, and they got rid of it, I'd be okay with it. Like,
Yep.
if you guys don't think that this is up to par and you guys could do something better, absolutely go for it.
Yeah. If
Get
they
rid of
really
it.
theme that, that'd be great. I mean, it truly bothers me that that there's so many people that love Darth Vader as a character and you can't meet
Mhm.
Darth Vader. Like it's super
Right.
frustrating.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
What do you think of this idea? And I know you can't go out to Disneyland as much, but I thought even back when Galaxy's Edge first opened, I thought it would be a good idea to put the newer characters in Disney World in the original Disney
Sweet.
park, Disneyland, and then make them themed to those time eras. Like make it more of a destination for those big Star Wars fans to travel to both. I think that could be really fun. What are your thoughts?
I'd be fine with that. I think it would be relatively intelligent for Disney to not have the same thing at every park.
Right.
I mean, they kind of don't, but they kind of do, right? So you put
Mhm.
Rise of the Resistance, or I'm sorry, you put Galaxy's Edge, and it's the exact same Galaxy's Edge. Like
Mhm.
I was at the one in California. It's the same as the one minus one
Right.
extra entrance.
Yep.
You really couldn't tell the difference once you're back in deep. You can't tell.
Right,
Um,
absolutely.
so I think it would be great. Um, my thing is that it, and this is one of those opinions that sometimes gets me in trouble. I
Mhm.
love Flight of Passage, but the
Yeah.
fact that Pandora isn't Kashyyyk or Endor is so frustrating to me.
Wait, Kashyyyk or Endor?
W-
Endor is
w-
Star Wars, right?
So Endor is Star Wars. Kashyyyk
Okay.
is the Wookiee planet.
Oh, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha,
So
gotcha.
so Animal Kingdom, those both would make sense, my opinion.
Okay. Okay.
They basically said, "Hey, James Cameron, you made one movie that was a ripoff of Pocahontas, but we really, 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 really like your camera stuff." Yeah,
Yeah.
I just blew your mind. I know it's Pocahontas with blue people. Think
Gonna
about
go
it.
reevaluate my life. I was today years old when.
It's Pocahontas with blue people. And all they wanted was his technology, so they promised him 5 more movies and a floating planets at a park. It bothers me. I'm okay with it because they cut their teeth on Total Immersion with that and
Yeah.
then did Galaxy's Edge, but I it's an
Is it
unnecessary, like, people don't have the love for Pandora that they do for Harry Potter, for Lord of the Rings, for Star
Mhm,
Wars.
mhm.
Frankly, getting to a point with Stranger Things, like there are a lot of other IPs. Like the fact
Fandoms, yes.
it is baffling to me, baffling that none of these big companies have spent the money or talked to J.R.R. Tolkien's heirs. How in the love of everything do we not have Tolkien land somewhere? It
And
it
that ties in for
baffles
those that
me.
don't know Lord of the
Lord of
Rings,
the Rings.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect, perfect. Um,
Lord of the Rings
yeah,
fan.
that
Sorry.
yeah, no, no, no. I love it. I love talking about all fandoms, absolutely. Um,
Crazy.
and I will say this to your point. I love going into the world of Pandora. I love the food. I like Flight of
Yes.
Passage. I love the
Mhm.
immersion. I've only seen the movie once when it originally came
Mhm.
out, and I have not seen it yet. I haven't even seen the new one. I've heard good
Mhm.
things. I just like how you are with Frozen 2. I just
Same.
haven't just hasn't stumbled upon
I
my
I
TV. And they did such a good job with that that I almost like now I'm thinking I'm like this is a good unpopular opinion. I almost prefer the world of Pandora versus Galaxy's Edge.
I don't disagree. I can see where people would like that. It is a hu
Mhm.
it has I think it has better food than Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
the ride is honestly a close second. I mean, it's a total, like Soarin' 2.0 kicked up,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
the only thing that I think Rise has on it is the multiple experiences as you lead up to the actual experience. I think that
Mhm,
that was done much better. And
mhm.
if they
And the
were to do
physical
something
sets too.
100%, 100%. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched a video and haven't been around for 5 years, um, when you go into the hangar, that feeling cannot be replicated, especially if you're a Star Wars nerd, but the grandeur of what that is, and realizing that that screen hasn't shown anywhere. Think about that. Because you look at Soren, the
Ooh.
projection, different story. Think about that.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
so if they did something like that, and I think that the reason we have Rise the way that it is because Flight of Passage had such a long queue, had such an issue with not Lightning Lane, what do we used to call it? Fast Pass, right? That
mhm.
that there was
Back in
nothing to
my day, it was
back
fast
in my day.
pass.
Yeah, I know, right?
Back in my day, we had fireworks.
Back in my day, I used to sprint to get paper fast passes for my entire family.
Yes, same. I was the
Samesies.
go-to sprinter. Yep,
Have to.
designated
So
sprinter.
exactly. So I think that they decided to do these multi-step experiences like they did in Rise because all you are in there is in the line. You're still in the
Mhm,
line. They just made it fun. So
mhm.
um I could see them
In
do that. Go ahead.
In another episode, I've talked about my mom when I took her on Rise Resistance for the first time. We got to the stormtrooper portion. She thought the ride was over, and I go,
Mhm.
"No, no, we gotta go. We gotta go this. She want to take pictures. Like, no, we gotta go this way. We in trouble.
Right.
Let's go."
Right.
And she was like,
Yeah.
"Why? It's over."
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah.
So,
But I mean it's true. I mean, but that 4.5 minute ride at the end, um,
mhm,
it's pretty intense. They did a really good job. So
absolutely,
but yeah, I can see the argument for Pandora over that, especially if you're not a Star Wars fan. And
absolutely. Oh my.
and and the only thing that really takes it for me is Oga's. O-
Oh,
Oga's Cantina is fantastic. The
I,
issue is that there's no food there. So
I know.
we've had the food. It's not that good.
Mhm.
It's
There's like
okay.
a
It's just
Wookie cookie and
there's a
little
whole
bite.
big charcuterie plate. The issue is that it's nothing special and it's made to look weird because it's supposed to be off planet. But the issue is that if you really want a charcuterie plate, you walk out of there, you go over to Baseline Tap House,
Yes.
and you get the
Yep.
best deal on charcuterie that you're going to get on Disney property at
And it looks
12.50.
normal.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So
Dave, that was amazing. I love all how passionate you are about your opinions of Disney and I love them and I appreciate how also the amount of time you took into thinking of your answers for the show. I do appreciate that very, very much. But now I'll let you take it away and share your most magical moment.
I should know this because it has to do with my wedding anniversary. Let me do the math. 2015, we are at Walt Disney World. As we do, we go every year. Um, and we'd booked through a travel agent, and there was kind of some back and forth and whatever that my wife was kind of sneakily doing, and I didn't have an inkling, but I knew something was up. So,
Mhm.
as I said, I was a huge fan of the Living Seas. Not scuba certified, always wanted to be. Um, and always thought it would be great to be able to do one of the experiences in the tank. So, um, w- somehow, some way, she got this around me. Had no clue what was going on. But for our 10th wedding anniversary, she bought me the 3-hour tour, Gilligan's Island reference experience of snorkeling in the living seas,
Oh.
which overall was fantastic. But there's a story to the story to the
Oh.
story. So now, my
Multiverses.
it is my wife isn't necessarily the best with directions,
Oh.
timing, or the amount of time it takes to get around. And here's why. We are officially, I believe, the couple that has used minivans the most ever on property. It is
You
budgeted every year in 20 when they start. This is pre-minivan, by the way, in
Yeah.
2015. But um,
Do you wanna
per
explain what a minivan is as
So
well?
minivan is
Just
the
'cause
official Disney Uber, right? So it's run through Lyft. You can get it. It's a cast member. They pick you up in these Suburbans that are, have pink or red with white polka dots on it, like Minnie's dress,
like,
and they will take you
literally
wherever.
minivans.
Exactly. So, and they will take you anywhere on property. They are not inexpensive, but it is a cast member. So my wife feels super safe using them. So we have just ever since they came out, we used them once. So we were, and this is a story to another story. I'll get there, but we were staying at Boardwalk the year they were trying them out, and we said, "Oh, we'll do one just for the picture." Then we used it like 7 times that first year. The next year, when we went back, I budgeted it because we stayed, I forget where, but like I think we took 32 in a week and a half, whatever.
And
Yeah,
I will
do the math.
say, from someone who yes, you probably spent more money, but
Oh yeah,
taking those buses, if they're delayed, there's not enough room, the end of the day, you probably saved so much time,
time.
which probably
I
was worth.
always said the number one thing you have at Disney is time. You can't buy
Mhm,
more. It's the only thing you
mhm.
have there. So, we would rather stay at a resort that was like we got a heck of a deal one year when the Destino Tower opened at Coronado.
Oh,
Heck of a deal,
gorgeous.
and then just budgeted what minivans would have been because I think we took the bus twice that entire week. So
That's awesome.
anywho, my point is that Brandy just I am the planner. I have my spreadsheets. I set everything up. I talk to everyone. Now that the kids are older, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Where do you want to eat? Like we have those conversations last the entire prep time, the entire year leading up to our big summer trip, right? And it's fantastic because we get to talk about Disney more than just at the parks, and I really
It's
enjoy
the
doing it.
anticipation
Yeah,
leading up to it, getting excitement, the countdown before Christmas kinda thing, and then
hundred
just your
percent.
Disney. Yes.
100%. It's the ride to get there, not the end goal. That's what if you
Mhm.
if you can enjoy that, you will be so much happier in life. If you can enjoy
Absolutely.
the path to get there. So so we would do this, right? And we would talk through all this, and I am the planner and I am the whatever. So we had set up, we were at Hollywood Studios, and it just so happened that my wife's a huge fan of sci-fi dine-in, not for the food,
Yes.
but for the experience.
Oh,
So we are
same, I'm right there with your wife.
it's
The ambiance
fantastic.
is most refreshing when it's hot, you're in the middle of your trip, just need dark, quiet, just
Perfect.
relaxing. Love it.
Perfect. So, we were on the dining plan that year, the deluxe dining plan at that. So I sit down and we're on the dining plan and I order my food and my wife hands me a card and it's a happy anniversary card and I
Oh.
open it up. Now it is noon. It is noon. I open it up. might be a little after. And I read through this thing, and it was a very loving card, and there was a little pin that is just Nemo in it. I'm a pin guy. I'm not a huge pin collector, but ones that I like, I buy. And I look at it, and I'm like, okay. And then I look, and she's like, I got you this experience at the Living Seas. It's this afternoon. Cool.
Oh,
That's
what
great.
time?
1:00. So
And
I
you're
am
in a
at the.
completely different park. You're
I am
probably
at
got to
the.
finish your meal.
I didn't have
Are the
time to finish my meal. Plus, you
are the
can't
kids
swim
with
for an
you?
hour. Oh yeah, kids are with me. Kids are
Okay, so
with
you
us.
gotta bring the kids with you as well. Oh my
No.
gosh.
I go, when is it? She's like, an hour. Go. So I have to get. This is pre-minivan. This is why this is important. I have to get from the absolute back of Hollywood Studios. There is no Rise of the Resistance. Think about that.
The back,
The
yes.
absolute back of Hollywood Studios to the absolute front of Epcot. It's not like you can just hang out. I have to get to the guest services place outside
Yes.
of the front of the park, over by where the minivans and rideshare drops you off now. You know that little corner
Yes.
in Epcot? Right.
No, towards the right side of everything
So,
in the
so,
entrance. Yes.
so for those of you that are fans of Disney that don't quite understand what I'm getting into, it was a 1.5 mile walk because I couldn't take the buses. I missed the bus when I got to the front of the park. So I walked. I walked from the back of the park the whole way over through Boardwalk, the whole way in through International Gateway to the front of the park, out of the park, and walked over.
Oh my gosh. So you okay. Oh, okay. So
Like, think about that.
you went through and you cut through the hotels, that little area in there, like you said, the boardwalk, and then you're in the back of Epcot now, which is like cool. You're in Epcot. No.
Yeah.
Epcot
Yeah.
is like the longest walk to get
It
around
is.
like World Showcase. And not only do you have to get through the first half of World Showcase, but then to the front of the park. Oh my goodness gracious!
It was.
How long did it take you?
32 minutes. I sprinted. Basically, I just walked.
So you were.
I just walked. I couldn't.
So you're
stop.
dripping in sweat by the time you get there.
Now, granted, I'm going into water, so does it really matter?
True.
Right,
But you're like,
oh yeah.
You'd be like, are you physically fit enough to do this? You're like, yes, I am. I just.
And this is July. This isn't January. This is July. As the sun is beating down, I'm just like hauling. I ordered food, didn't even get to eat it. Go over there. Yeah, got through it, and then the tour was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the cast members were amazing.
Can you describe it a little bit more in detail for those that haven't done it? Because most of us haven't done that.
So it's a 3-hour tour. There's a lot of behind the scenes, right? So this is how we manage feeding the fish. This is how often we feed the sharks. Blah blah blah. Like all this stuff, right? Like everything you wanted to know if you were a nerd about that type of stuff. So really got into that. A lot about their conservation. And then they basically fit you up with a wetsuit, and then you get a snorkel, which the snorkel is actually, it's an oxygen tank, right? So it's your standard oxygen tank that you would have, but it's a smaller version, and they put 2 big floats on it, so you cannot dive down, right?
Gotcha.
So this isn't the dive portion. You have to be certified to do that, but this is you're snorkeling on top, right? It's crazy because you're looking into that water, right? And you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty far back. Oh, this is pretty big, and you know that it's still one of the biggest aquariums in the world. So you're like, huh? The Epcot ball fits in it. You know that, right?
You know, I think I've heard that fact before, but I definitely have forgotten that. That is so cool.
So then you go and get in it, and the water's not warm. It's not warm at all. Think about it. It's salt water. It's not warm. It's not your standard I'm in a pool experience, right? And
with like kids pee in it. It's adapted for the animals. Absolutely.
Exactly. And if did you ever do the swimming with sharks, the shark reef thing at
yes,
Typhoon Lagoon?
I remember freezing.
Yeah, it was that on steroids. basically. Um,
Oh, and then the Typhoon Lagoon one, you didn't have a wetsuit.
no, you
You
just
just
got in. They usually gave you a vest, right? Just the top.
yes.
But
Mhm,
so this was it was the vest, and I think there were like shorts that you put on over your suit or whatever, right? But
mhm.
they had this, and they literally talked to you for a few minutes, and then said, "You have 30 minutes of oxygen. It's yours. Go." So you could just swim around and just float there and watch stuff. And
I know what aquatic life is in there, but do you wanna tell people that might
so
not know?
the obvious question is, how often do they feed the sharks? And they're like, "Listen, the sharks aren't going to hurt you." And I think they tell this joke every time. Like, yeah, we feed them every 3 days. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago at this point, right? Like, there's a whiteboard, and I don't think the whiteboard changes. I think it's just
Yeah,
for that.
for that
Um,
little joke.
yeah, yeah, 100
Look at them
100%.
trying to be Jungle Cruise, how
I
cute.
exactly. I know, right? So obviously a bunch of sharks. It was I don't want to say it was upsetting 'cause it was cool, but like they had just fed the sea turtles, so they were nappy. So the sea turtles
Oh,
like they're like, "Listen, if a sea turtle comes up to you, they just want to play, just hang out. They'll run around like and yeah, and unfortunately didn't get to experience that. They were napping at the bottom. Like you could see them. They're like,
I
"I'm passed out." Yeah.
I love
Look at
sea
that.
turtles,
Oh, that's
and
fantastic.
it's a magnetic, so I always have it on my mic, and
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
I love sea turtles.
It it's it was
Oh,
it was great. And the thing was is like, you had the flotation so you weren't focused on utilizing your energy to
yeah,
keep yourself up, staying buoyant. So
mhm.
you had that buoyancy. So you were just kind of just, whoosh,
Enjoying looking around at
swimming around,
everything.
looking around. School of fish would come within, 6 inches of you and hang out. And
Stingrays as well?
stingrays, they were down low usually. Um the spotted ones were running around, but it was fantastic. I mean,
And the
like
dolphins are in a separate tank,
dolphins
right?
are in a separate tank because they'll kill the
Okay.
fish.
Not that the sharks will get them; they will
No,
kill the fish.
sharks aren't the issue. Dolphins are a-holes. I'm just saying.
Isn't that in a movie? I feel like not
Probably.
not
I mean,
I
they're
know
they're
Mimo, they make him ever, "Look at me, I'm a little dolphin," but I feel
yeah,
like there's another movie where they're like, "Dolphins are just so showboaty," like
they are.
oh
But
my
but
gosh,
yeah,
but
they
you got
actually
to
weren't
do
there at
it.
that time because they were redoing the tank, so they had moved them to
Oh,
another facility somewhere else. But
gotcha.
but yeah,
So you
but I
did
mean, there's
the
go ahead.
tour, you did the aquarium portion of it. Was there any other things you did after that, or was that, like,
They
the last bit that you did?
they gave you a snack afterwards, which was not a full meal, and I was starving. So realize I ate nothing.
You
I
ate
run, I
nothing.
do this. I go like that's a long walk to begin with, and then you're in water. You're at least moving around, doing whatever, and it's 30 minutes plus, And
Mhm.
they were great. They're like, look, if your oxygen runs out, just come over here. We'll give you a new one. Like they wanted you to have the experience, right? So
Yes, yes.
it's fantastic. Just super great people, super great spot, and I think at that point it was $300, and it was worth every single penny. I don't know what it is
That's
now. I don't even know if they still offer it. If they do,
mhm.
highly recommend it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't necessarily know that a lot of these tours are out there. They
Mhm.
hear the keys of the kingdom and all of that,
Right.
but like you can tour the land for like $40 a person.
Okay, I didn't realize it was just 40
That's it.
bucks.
It's not expensive. It might be a little more now, but it's not crazy. But you can
Right,
go
right.
on a
It's
tour of the land and feed the fish. Like it, it's
how
crazy.
fun.
Yeah. So
Okay,
so
I do have
there's
a
some of these little
question
things.
for you.
Go for it.
Um, so I have interviewed somebody who has done the scuba diving
Right.
experience, and I
Mhm.
know that this experience that you did was a surprise, and so obviously you didn't get the scuba certifications. If you
Right.
could go back in time or possibly do it again, let's say Disney offered you a chance to do it again, would you think were you satisfied with, not to say that to be ungrateful or anything, but like would you go back and do the scuba one, or was the snorkeling one perfect or
It-
just enough?
for someone who's not certified, um, it was fantastic because it was the same experience, right, that you would have with Shark Reef, only on steroids. Like it was fantastic. It was
Mhm.
great. I wouldn't change the way that it happened at all. It makes for a great story, and it was a fantastic tour. Um, if I got certified, would I do that? 100%.
Mhm.
Scary part is if I got certified, then I'd want to go do other things that aren't in a tank. if you
Ah,
know what
okay.
I'm saying. So like I
Yes.
feel like there's more to explore once you officially know how to not get the bends whenever you're using uh, uh,
Scuba.
O2 tanks, scuba tanks, right?
Absolutely.
So I would, if they have it, and if you wanted to, like I 100% worth it as a once in a lifetime thing. I would do it again. I would
Awesome.
100% pay for it. And I mean, here's where I look at it. Like, let's say this thing's $400 now.
Mhm.
People are paying $250 for a lightsaber. What do you get out of a lightsaber? It hangs on the wall. That's cool. You
Mhm.
get an experience to build it. I get it. Don't get me wrong. To each their own, all the time. But
And you are a big Star Wars fan, so that
huge
is
Star Wars fan.
you're not just me saying, "Oh, why spend money on a lightsaber when I'm a Marvel
Yeah,
fan?" You're a Star Wars fan.
yeah, and
It
it's really tough for me to say I'm going to spend that money on a lightsaber.
Mhm.
I would spend double that on this because of the experience. I mean, how many people? Everyone has a lightsaber. Not
Mhm.
everyone. A lot of people have lightsabers.
I did have a lightsaber at one point, yes.
Yeah, did it break? We're not
So
going to
I
talk about it.
watched you're a Star Wars fan. I watched the Michelle C. Smith videos, and she is this amazing stunt woman that does the coolest things on YouTube with
Hmm.
them. And I was
Right.
like, I want to try doing that. And I dented mine and I said, okay, we got it. I don't deserve this.
We're not. We're not doing it again.
I'm not
That's
doing
funny.
it again.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, 100%. I'd highly recommend it. I would like to do the other one. If you're certified, I guarantee that's still a great
Mhm.
experience. But but yeah, it was good times
That's
for
incredible.
sure.
Well, Dave, thank you so much for sharing that story. And again, where can we find you and follow along your adventures? You're on a lot of different places, and we'll link all those in the show notes. But would you like to remind us one more time?
Okay, can start with Brandy and Dave. That would be
Mhm.
myself and my wife and the family. That's our family vlog channel. I am live on Sundays, 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the only correct time zone, by the way. Um, on
Me, who's on
Brandy and
at the same time?
Dave.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
that is Brandy ampersand Dave. Just so you know, because there's another Brandy and Dave that is that is not us.
God.
That there's a funny story about that too. I'll tell you later. So
We'll link the proper one down
yes,
below.
yeah, we're good. So check that out. We're on all the things: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all the fun stuff. Also Wednesday nights, if you want some more irreverent, passionate Disney out of this guy, head on over to Dis and That on YouTube. We are live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Little off the wall, little on topic, mostly off topic. But it's a really fun night live. Great community. So go check us out.
Well, Dave, I just want to thank you again so much for reaching out to Jean and getting a hold of me and doing the show together. You are truly such a Disney fanatic, theme park fanatic, and I just thank you for taking the time to come on the show and share one of your most magical moments. And we'll have you on again soon.
Hey, 100%, absolutely enjoyed it. Morgan, thanks for the invite. I would love to come back and talk more about random things that have happened to me at Disney because there's a lot.